Multi-Plus Conclave's first session of the day. So let me introduce our panel members for the first session of the day while we await their joining. So friends, the session topic is Reaching a Turning Point, Residential Realty Transformations. The session will be chaired by Surekha Bihani, Managing Director, Kolkata, JLL India. Surekha has 15 years of experience in Eastern India. She oversees JLL's business in West Bengal, Orissa, Jharkhand, Bihar, and Northeast India. In her current role, she provides end-to-end real estate solutions, including land acquisition, funding, transaction management, and exit strategies to corporates, developers, and investors. A very warm welcome to our moderator of the session. Let me now introduce our eminent speakers in an alphabetical order. I welcome Mr. Basant Kumar Parakh, Managing Director, Orbit Group. Mr. Parakh has an illustrious experience of over 25 years in the industry. His passion for an exclusive lifestyle drives our foray into premium residential spaces, and he values relationships and regards stakeholder satisfaction as the biggest token of achievement. So, Mr. Basant Parakh, a very warm welcome to you on this session. Our next eminent panel member is Mr. Pradip Kumar Chopra, Chairman and Managing Director, PS Group of Companies. Mr. Chopra is a leading real estate developer in Kolkata, which has completed over 200 real estate projects in the last 30 years, including some of Kolkata's landmarks. He is also the chairman of the Institute of Leadership, Entrepreneurship and Development, I-LEAD, offering degree courses in media and management studies. Our next eminent panel member is Mr. Nandu Belani, Chairman, Belani Group of Companies. Mr. Belani is also the president of Credai, Bengal. Under his leadership, the group has completed landmark buildings across West Bengal. He is also a founder member of the Highland Group, which has to its credit various ventures, including a 260-acre largest township project in the Eastern India. Our next very eminent panel member, I welcome Dr. Nitesh Kumar Gupta, Managing Director and CEO, Emami Realty. Dr. Nitesh Gupta has over 28 years experience in real estate industry and funds executing multi-dimensional projects with proven strengths in corporate strategy and marketing and innovations. Dr. Gupta is well versed with conceptualizing, planning, improvising, and implementing new ideas and strategies to enhance real estate activities in the organization. Our next panel member, the very eminent speaker and the veteran of the industry, Mr. Sushil Mohta, Chairman, Merlin Group. Mr. Sushil Mohta is also the director, South City Group of Companies, and is on board of two large malls, South City and Acropolis in Kolkata. He's a founder member of Credai India, and Mr. Mohta has been in the real estate industry for the last 3 decades and has been involved in a lot of policy making and reforms in various legislations related to the real estate industry. And yes, also joining this session is Mr. Harshvardhan Patodia, whom we just heard before this session. He will be sharing his views on this topic, where we talk about reaching a turning point, how residential realty is transforming. So do we have all our panel members now? Ms. Surekha, over to you now.
Thank you. Am I audible?
Yes. In fact, Mr. Piyush Bhagat is not able to join us because of last minute, problem that he has, encountered on his end. But we have all our panel members right here with us. Surekha, over to you.
Thank you so much, Sapna. Good afternoon, everyone. With this, hot topic and the new way of life that we are leading, the COVID era, which the pandemic era, which has taught us to adopt, change ourselves, change the way we think, change the way we live, change the way we work. And every sector, be it office, be it retail, be it residential, be it alternative assets, they have seen huge transformation, and residential sector is no exception. From demand to larger homes, to accommodating multiple people in the household who are doing work from home. And with an increased demand, which is showing up in the Tier 2, Tier 3 segment, we have seen a paradigm shift happening in the residential segment. So not wasting time anymore, since we are very, we are working on a very tight schedule. I'll go over to my esteemed panelist, starting with you, Sushil sir. Uh, Sushil sir, can you hear me?
Sushil ji is joining in just a few minutes.
Nandu sir, are you there?
It's not 2:30 yet.
Yeah, actually, that's what Sapna. It's not yet 2:30. I think I'll started it a bit early, but Nanduji,
I think we should first go to Mr. Harshvardhan. For taking from what he just mentioned in his keynote address. Let's take it from there.
So I missed out on the keynote address. So one thing which Harshi, Harshi, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, speaker.
So Harshi, there is a majority of home buyers' preference buy. Is my voice echoing?
No, it's okay.
I think everybody should mute only when they talk. It will be better then. Everybody should mute.
So a majority of home buyers is shifting towards home which can accommodate an office setup and provide open spaces. So the importance of healthy living is gaining a lot of importance in today's lifestyle. As a developer, where do you see this paradigm shift going? How is the way the living is changing? What do you say as a healthy living today would be?
Surekha, this is definitely a total change in the attitude and the mindset of our customers. You know what people are thinking, instead of materialistic small lollipops and pops and whistles, people are now looking at more the aspect of sustainability. They're looking at the green building, they're looking at wellness, they're looking at wellness facilities, and they're looking at definitely slightly larger space, because both the husband or wife, when they are working, they need a space where they can work from home and at different times without being disturbed. And even at times healthcare is on online nowadays. Even the education for the children is online. So with the entire aspect of life getting online in a very large way, I think people are looking at a slightly larger space where they can easily conduct their lives digitally without the family disturbance or without any kind of a distraction in their life, and they get their own space during that time. Secondly, what has also happened that during the COVID pandemic, all of us have realized the importance of a home. This is where we ultimately went, and this is where we all got safe. And if we were well or if we were sick, I think we all recuperated there and we lived our lives there. At least that is what has happened. And there's a major shift in the millennial thought process also. So they were earlier like more mobile than the earlier generation, but they've also come to realize that no, I think ultimately buying a house is important in their lives. And this pandemic has definitely put a reset button in everybody's life. And people are definitely rethinking on their priorities in terms of a home. And I think this is augurs very well for the real estate market in the future and time to come.
So picking up from what Harshi is saying, Nanduji, every millennial today, and not only millennials, I think people who were earlier thinking of just living in rented home are wanting to have an apartment of their own. What trend are you witnessing in this aspect, and how have you seen the sales increase in the eastern region?
Thank you, Surekha. Hello, everybody. As taking from what Harsh just said, I think we have redefined our lives in terms of the way we function, the way we do our business, the way we do everything today, even the way we conduct ourselves. It's become a post-COVID era. I think last March, before the lockdown, we never knew that what we were heading for, that we would be confined to our homes for a month, 2 months, and maybe longer also, because all the entertainment spots were closed. We couldn't go out anywhere. Offices opened little later, but till date, we are still fearsome to go to a movie hall, to a mall, to interact with people. You see, so interaction with people has come down today. Today we are more interacting on Zoom. So I think that touch with human has gone. So what we realize now in the post-COVID era, that home, as Harsh said, is very, very important for everybody. Having a home, that too of your own. Previously, the younger generation, the millennials, were taking more on rented. They said rented because you keep changing your jobs, and the rental yields were about 2 to 3% on residential, whereas the interest rates were 7-8%. Okay. And now today, with the interest in a 15-year low, has come down for home loans. So that is one of the reasons where people are also wanting to go for a ownership home than other than a rented home. And they see this has brought a lot of uncertainty in the human being, that staying in a rented apartment, there's uncertainty. Tomorrow your lease expires. Tomorrow your landlord may tell you to not renew it. So where do you go again? You may not get the home of your choice. And real estate, as we all know, is a hard asset which cannot never be stolen from you. You have gold, gold can be stolen, shares can really collapse, but real estate has been a stable asset for so many years. So people are going for a real estate buying asset today, and they even want bigger homes today. As Harsh said, they want more recreation space, they want to work from home, they want an extra room. So these trends we are seeing, and majorly people from rented are shifting to ownership homes because it gives them the comfort of owning something and being confined to a home with your family. And people also preferring homes with a lot of recreational facilities, like larger complexes are in demand and at better prices. I think this is the trend that we have seen changing post-COVID.
You've seen an increase in the sales data because of this, sir?
Absolutely. See, I'll tell you, last November, we had already achieved 70% of pre-COVID levels. And January, February, March, we were doing great. Sales were really good. And it's going up from month to month. But there would be a slight slowdown in April, maybe because of the spread. But you see, today, COVID as an enemy we know what COVID is today. Last March, we did not know. Today, we know COVID. We know it's a matter of a month or two, we'll get over it. And what I see the trend, maybe towards the end of the year, you'll see higher sales than last year, and maybe at higher prices also. Sure.
Which is a very good thought to have at this point. So, Pradip sir, have you joined?
Yeah, Mr. Chopra is there. His video has some problem, but he's there.
Even
Okay.
Sushil has joined now. Hi, Sushil.
Hi, Sushil sir. Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
So taking over to your questions before we go to Pradip sir, there is, Sushil sir, there are three asset classes which have always been a preference for everyone, which is equities, mutual funds, gold, mutual funds and fixed deposits, gold, and then real estate. Considering these avenues, how do you see the dynamics of real estate becoming a more preferred options against these four asset classes, sir?
See, first of all, it is not a correct comparison. Home is not an asset where you compare with gold or a bond or something. You can live without bond or fixed deposit or gold, but you perhaps cannot live without a home. It's the basic need any human being will have out of these three: roti, kapda, and makan. So I don't think you have a comparison here. And this is the asset where you historically have seen appreciation and will continue to see also your entire comfort, mental comfort, physical comfort, everything. So I don't think there is any need to fortify this particular thought. It is given. It's a no-brainer that this is the best asset class one can have.
Pradip ji, over to putting up the question to you. Starting with the fact that, everyone is saying that we have seen a pent-up demand in the people post the first wave of COVID. We also saw a lot of concerns coming out from a lot of people. What actually did you see the concerns which the home buyers were having?
See, the concerns, I don't see much of the concerns from the home buyers. What I see that if you have booked a flat and if you have a deadline to shift from your current flat to the next flat, the major concern is whether the project will be completed on time because of non-availability of laborers and because of constrained in construction because of the lockdown, COVID, and things like that. That was one of the concern. Other than that, there is a problem of plenty. For the first time, a buyer has a choice. There are so many apartments, finished apartments available to the buyer, and I think it's a best time from the buyer's perspective to buy the, because the home loan rates are at historically low. The inflation is quite high. The prices of steel and cement and other have gone up. To that extent, the prices of flats have not gone up. You have a multiple choice available. And what I would like to add, what Nandu has just said, that earlier you had a job where you have to keep on changing your cities, your locations. Now most of the companies ask you to work from home, and it is not for a temporary period. It is long term. It is for life. The Googles and the Microsoft of the world, they are all saying that you can, for rest of life, you work from home. Now, if I can work from home, I can always buy a flat from where I'll work for rest of my life. So that's a big incentive to buy. Earlier, I was not sure whether I'll be Bangalore or I will be in Calcutta or I'll be in Delhi. Now that I can work, from one place, I can buy. And the buying an apartment is not just buying a roof over your head. It's buying complete financial security in a country where no social security or financial security is available. You create a home equity which subsequently allow you to borrow more money in case of medical or social emergency. And after you have completed paying, you also get a reverse mortgage option which adds to your retirement benefit. So it's actually a great investment option, and today it's the best time to buy. So the concern is that how to buy, which one to buy, or things like that. So I think it's buyers are having a ball. So I think we'll see, as Nandu said, that temporarily there may be some lull because of the the mess we are in right now because of the COVID. Once we are out of it, I think the prices and the speed of sale will go up. It has, in our case, it has gone up. We are already in the January, February, March, we were selling more than the pre-COVID period. The numbers are also higher. We have increased the prices of the apartments. So it has been a great experience, good experience as far as we are concerned.
That's a very positive note to have. I think many of the builders in Calcutta have experienced this phenomena, and that's something very positive for the Eastern India market. Vasantji, going over to you, and on this perspective that people are going into a work from home, and home can be like, it can be the tier 2, tier 3 cities where we earlier actually belong. Maybe I belong to Guwahati. I might want to buy an apartment in Guwahati. How do you see this trend moving, and how have you seen this impact demand?
In the current situation, we all, as other speakers have said, the need for quality homes or any homes per se has improved. The urgency for a larger space or a space which is more than what they are using now has also been felt by the home buyers, and clubbed with the reduction in rate of interest has also prompted them to buy new apartments which are ready or which are getting ready. So housing, which was definitely a priority for each of us, but it was getting deferred because of one reason or another. Okay, chalo, we'll see, we'll wait for 6 months, we'll wait for 1 year. But with the present situation where the need for quality home, the larger home, as the other speakers and eminent speakers have said, the thrust in real estate has gone up. The housing in all sectors, whether it is in urban sectors, it is in suburban sectors, whether it is in metropolitan cities or tier 2 cities, everywhere we have seen the need for homes because people are staying everywhere, right? As Sushil Bhai and Pradip and everybody said that where in the era of last 1.5 years, when working from home is getting momentum. More and more people are working from home. What is happening is that the people were coming to urban cities for their livelihood, right? Now they can go back to their suburban city, tier 2 cities, small towns, and have their own home and work from home.
Sushilji, just an extension of this question, as a Credai West Bengal chapter, heading that chapter, do we have any data to show how much of demand has happened in places like Shiliguri or the other towns of West Bengal? So you're on mute.
Well, right now we have available data, but speaking to the developers of tier 2, tier 3 city, we have realized one thing, that there is a good demand in this and also the suburbs of Calcutta also are now selling good, Barasat or Pada or down south Joka or Madhyam Gram or areas in Hubli and Havra. People are buying home because they're working from homes, and the rates are cheaper there. Home loan rate is very less. Credit link subsidy is available. So all this put together, the sale have gone up in all these areas also, and people are finding it quite comfortable. And as it is, they see social infrastructure is also growing in all these areas like this, schools, shopping, etc. So that way, and one more interesting data I have found, that this your online shopping has increased in all these tier 2, tier 3 city, because people are working from that place. And when they were working in Bangalore, Pune or Calcutta, they were accustomed to do online shopping. These young boys and girls, they were doing all their online shopping. So now that shopping has shifted to these tier 2, tier 3 cities. So this itself shows that people are working seriously from places. A good number of people are working that way. So definitely they said that they will buy a home there when they are working from there. They are living with their parents there. So definitely they need more space. So
Sapna, I think you have to mute yourself. Sapna, you have to mute yourself.
She is muted. She's on mute. She's on mute.
So a very interesting fact, which is coming out also from this fact which you're mentioning, Sushilji, which I think I should be mentioning in this forum, since there is a lot of demand from these e-commerces, the Amazons and Flipkarts of the world, and instead of taking larger warehouses for their fulfillment center, they are now preferring to take in places like a Shiliguri, a Bhubaneswar, a Guwahati, which is itself a kind of an impetus to say what you are saying, sir, substantially, that the online shopping trends are relatively increasing in these tier 2, tier 3 segments. This is what is exactly matching what you're trying to tell, sir.
Yes, you see, the other day I was in the second home project, which is at Amtala, Merlin, which is absolutely a panchayat area. And I was saying that we need to have this thing. So you book this on Amazon, it will come to office. So my people said, no, sir, they will deliver here. They deliver here. There are a lot of people buying from Amazon here. Last Sunday.
So you have distribution centers in Taratala. From there it gets done. So you see the kind of effort that these e-commerce players are taking to have distribution centers all across Calcutta and also the suburban areas of the state. It's a very interesting phenomenon. Nitesh, now going over to you, there are two criterias now which are now we are seeing a lot of buyers looking into. One is the size of the house and the price of the house. If since you've had a national exposure, Nitesh, how do you see this growing? What do you see is the right size which is doing good in India? What is the price bracket which you are seeing doing good sales across India? Of course, not fully focused on East, but more on an India perspective, since you have a lot of national exposure. Nitesh, over to you. You're on mute, I think, Nitesh.
You're able to hear me?
Yeah, now we can hear you. Yeah.
Okay. So sorry for the trouble, internet problems, Very nice question, Ms. Bihani. First of all, good afternoon to everybody, and all my fellow eminent panelists are all here, and my viewers are here. First of all, I sincerely wish and hope that this pandemic people are able to face very bravely and come out of this difficulty. But as Albert Einstein said, with the middle of difficulties, lies opportunities. So, Ms. Surekha, coming back to your question, this pandemic has actually opened up a lot of pent-up demands, which was accruing over the years of buying a house. And not only buying a house, buying a larger house with customized spaces, with what extra room, which they can convert into the offices, a lot of open spaces, large balconies, buying houses and societies, which has all in-house facilities like clubs, gyms, daily shopping needs. This has come into real limelight. But having said so, buying a larger house also needs budget. The spending power of a person, though the home loan rates have historically come down, as my fellow eminent panelists have said. This is, mind you, Ms. Surekha, this is the lowest home loan interest rate in the last 5 decades. I was being told, but still, a budget is still a criteria. So instead of, buying houses in the major cities and metro cities, with the work from home culture, where the distance no longer is the criteria of a discerning buyer, people are willing to go towards suburban areas. People are willing to go towards the tier 2, tier 3 cities, where they can have much more open land. They can build their customized houses. They can have more open spaces. They can have more work-life balance, and also an emotional quotient that they can be near their parents. So that has really come into the scene. I would just like to quote an example for Emami Reality. We just launched a project in Jhansi, if we talk about the natural exposure, which is about 8 hours drive from Lucknow. And it's 100 acres bungalow township. And in 6 months, Ms. Bihani, we were able to sell out more than 60% of our inventories. That's a clear sign that people don't mind moving out. And with the online education system also, people don't have to go to send their school kids to their school every day. So that has also come to see. But coming back to your second part, what is the ideal size, how much larger size of rooms or houses they require? It all depends from family to family. A 2 BHK person might go for a 2 BHK plus an extra room, study room, which they can convert into a flexible office space. A 3 BHK can go to a 4 BHK. But affordability index is a criteria that one has to see. But as compared to the pricing that you asked me, the last part of your question, at what is the ideal pricing? Going by the last 3 quarters after the lockdown, the maximum sales volume that we have seen, and I was seeing some analog data that has happened in the last 3 decades, is under 1 crore category. That clearly shows that the affordable housing, the mid-housing category is driving the sales. But mind it, the NRIs have really bounced back, the long aspirations of buying their houses in their native country, in the native cities. I was told that 38% of the sales that has happened in the last 2-3 quarters, NRIs have taken it, and their price segment is about 90 lakhs to 2.5 crores. Thank you.
Yeah, I agree, Nitesh. That's absolutely correct. Continuing from what Nitesh has said, Nandu sir, that NRIs are buying. We also have seen a lot of people. We see a lot of Bengalis today are settled in Bangalore, Pune, Hyderabad, and even for that matter in Bombay. And this shift of working from home are we doing any sort of a marketing to attract them to buy homes in our city? And I mean, how do you see this going forward? Do you see that opportunity coming up? Or do you see, we need to make a concentrated effort to get them to buy homes here? Or how do you see this going forward, sir?
No, as I told you, going forward, one of the, as I just told you before, in my first talk, that residential residential real estate is really seeing a boom and would see a boom going forward for the reasons I told you pre-COVID, post-COVID, because of insecurities, uncertainties in people's mind. People are looking at residential as an asset to invest in and also own it, because residential asset is one of the most prized possession any person can have, having your own home. So people working in Bangalore, Pune, Hyderabad, from Calcutta, I think they are, since advertising is digital these days, so people have access to your website, internet, they can easily access any builder. And we as a group, and also I am quite sure a lot of other groups, are targeting social media as one of the major platforms for attracting investments from these cities. Because people are all on social media now, the younger generation. So that's one of the mediums that we use generally to attract investments from these areas. And what we see a trend today, I think Bengal going forward is going to do great. For one of the reasons what I have this feeling is, today we have elections round the corner, and I think for the first time we have a real contested elections in Bengal. Normally it's been one party rule for a longer time, and with another party coming up, whoever may win, I think Bengal will grow, whether it's the ruling party or the BJP coming in. I think if the ruling party comes in, they will surely try to put in more and more time and more investment infrastructure into the state for sure. And if central government comes in, they will also put in infrastructure. I think Bengal is in for a great time today in terms of investments and in terms of growth. So, as I said earlier, I think once we are over with this second wave of COVID, which is not going to be very serious, we are panicking today, but I think 2 months, 3 months down the road, with vaccines freely available, I think the scare will go away and people will surely go back to investing in real estate residential. People want bigger flats. And once again, I would like to impress that residential demand by the end of the year would be higher than what we saw in 2019, 2020, for sure. And that's going to happen. And I'll just give an example. We have a store H&M in our building. This February, March, the sales were higher than last February, March. So which means that the economy is growing. It is just a few months of uncertainty. I think we are there.
I think most of the malls did very well in the October, February phase, showing the fact that people have proved that, the human nature is resilient. And as soon as they get a kind of a circumstance where they can bounce back and come back to life, they'll all come back to life. That's very important part of a human nature. That's human behavior. So, social media is a kind of a technology which we have been talking. Sushilji, coming to you, technology is a very interesting topic and is a very talked about topic in this real estate world. I think we've been using real estate as a sector has been using a lot of technology, and we've learned to adapt that technology in this COVID time. We've started using the virtual 3D walkthroughs. We've started doing online documentations. We've started putting payment platforms in place. There's been a lot of innovation. So very quickly, there are positives and negatives of every aspect of it, every aspect of technology. So on this, I just wanted to elaborate what you see has been the changes which has come in this sector in terms of technology. Then second part is, how are you seeing buyers responding to this technology? Are they adapting, or are they resisting, or there's a mixed feeling on what they are feeling? And third is, how are developers changing on this platform? Sir, you're muted, sir. You need to unmute.
Okay. The only silver line out of this pandemic is phenomenal increase in the use of technology.
Yeah.
It is just not in the sales and marketing, but in all spheres of life, right from celebrating a birthday to a mourning also. That is social part. But in business also. These days, within the same city, we are doing conferences with the advocates on virtual platform. We are doing project review meeting on VC. We are doing design coordination meeting with architect, consultant, structural engineer, and electrical consultants on the virtual platform. And sales marketing also is phenomenal as far as the use of technology is concerned, with the different kind of tools. Like now we have some, for few projects we have a 360-degree walkthrough in the project. Like you can go one corner to another corner virtually. You can have a 360-degree view. You can have a virtual walkthrough. You have the chatbots. You have the artificial intelligence, like automated answer for certain set queries. So those things are being used. And the best thing is that, the customers are accepting this happily. And the site visit to conversion ratio have increased like anything. Earlier, if there were 10 customers visiting, there was one closer. Now, with 4 or 5 visiting, one closer. So customers are now filtering through this, all the technology. They are shortlisting their requirement through the virtual walkthrough or 360-degree view or video chats and chatbots and all those things. Then going for a final site visit. One site visit is normally required, except few NRI and customers who are not residing in Calcutta. But normally one site visit is required by most of the customers. The best part is that, these people have adapted it not only, the senior level, but at all level. Even the site engineers or the junior people, everybody has adapted this technology. And another important factor, HERA or RERA, is actually boon in long term. See, today this platform is having the most, all the information of the most available projects. All the available projects are displayed there. So the complete set of informations are available. A customer, if a smart customer, if I have to buy a property, I will first go to HERA site, shortlist from there, see the background of the developer. I will see how many cases are against him, and then make my decision accordingly. So HERA and RERA is becoming one of the biggest information dissemination point. So this is also a technology, and coupled with that, your websites, etc. And I think, in time to come, every developer, every credible developer has to adopt all those this technological feature. I think most of us are having already. So with regard to your this other features like payment gateway and all, so they all are working fine, and the customers are happy to use it.
Agree, sir. Pradip ji, going over to you, sir. As you rightly said, there has been increased demand for ready homes in your earlier answer. Pradip sir, on these circumstances, how do you see developers planning to fund ongoing construction if people are only wanting to buy ready homes?
Let me first add what Sushil has just said. Technology, what is going to come is going to be fascinating. We are right now working on putting all the records of the border security force and the police and the army on blockchain, where the records can't be fudged, records can't be distorted, records cannot be, played with. The major problem in India is the authenticity of the land records. Now, if the land records are put on blockchain, you are 100% sure about the title of the property. And this is going to be a greatest boon in the real estate industry once all the record of the lands can be put into blockchain. Second is that even artificial intelligence is going to play a major role in designing and execution of the projects, where all the bottlenecks of the execution and design defects, which cannot be seen by human eye or human brain, can be identified by the artificial intelligence. So there can be a very, very affordable housing, and reduction in the cost also requires the most efficient design. And this is going to happen with artificial intelligence coming into real estate, and it is going to be widely used in very short time. So these are two emerging technologies. There are many other technologies which are coming. We don't have time to talk about. Now, regarding your question of how do we fund?
Sir, if you can please talk on that. I think Sapna
Yeah.
started before
Okay,
time, 15 minutes
okay.
before time. So we have some time.
Yeah,
Really.
and no, I'll just give you one answer, one sentence. There is no problem because there's a high liquidity today. The bankers are after you to fund. If you're a good builder, you have a good credit worthiness. There's a lot of money is floating around than what is required right now. So I don't think any builder is having any problem in raising the money if people are interested in only buying ready-made flats, because thanks to COVID, worldwide the liquidity is very high. That is one reason why the interest rates are so low, despite the fact that the inflation is so high. The inflation is double digit and the interest rates are single digit. This is happening because there is a very high liquidity availability in the market. So that answers your question that where the money will come. Enough money is floating around.
Okay, sir. Point noted, sir. Basanti, going to where we've been hearing our Prime Minister speaking that housing for all is something which he's been speaking a lot. Now, when we say housing for all, which is the segment that we are talking about? Are we talking of that 200, 300 square feet carpet area, or are we talking of that 800 to 900,000 square feet? How do you see the developers? That's the first question. The second question would be, do you see developers making money on these kinds of projects, considering that the cost of construction is going higher day by day? So on a holistic ground, how do you see this segment going forward?
See, this segment is going to go well, and it has to do well. We have to make houses for masses to suit all pockets. Now we can see a shopping center. Let us understand this. When you go to the shopping center, you get everything what you want to suit each pockets, right? किसी को अगर सस्ता शर्ट लेना है तो 100 rupees में भी मिलता है, and if you want to go for luxury, you have to pay 15 to 20,000 also. Now, at one point of time, we were doing what we like as a builder to build, right? But now we have to understand that we have to build to suit each pocket, every pocket. That will give us volume. Because see, I see it like this. You have your own overhead in place. You have to have volumes. The luxury segment or the upper MIG will not give you those kind of volumes which the so-called affordable housing can give. Now, affordable housing, we are saying as it is defined in the Act, but affordable could be starting from 5 lakh, 6 lakh rupees to a flat, 1 bedroom maybe, 9 lakh to 12 lakh for 2 bedroom, depending upon locations, depending upon the areas. And those flats have gained momentum. They are doing very well. Now, what is really happening is, despite the fact that the government is saying that, okay, you produce affordable housing, periodically we are getting income tax benefit out of it. But it has to be, at a larger format as you touch, the value of the land. Say in West Bengal, say if you consider our holding cost to make it marketable up to the sanction, the revenue interest cost is very high. Is the government giving any benefit for the stamp duty benefit? It is not. Some of the states are giving it. So to make it affordable, it is not only the job of the builder to make it affordable. Yes, the builder has to work rather more hard with their architects, with the structural consultant, with the other service providers for the complex of the building, what you do, so that you can produce at a lower cost without compromising on the quality and amenities of the apartments or the housing, correct? More so, this is very important. पहले तो क्या है, if we were liberal, चलो ठीक है, 50 रुपया बढ़ जाता तो कुछ नहीं. Now today 50 rupees is only the margin.
Agreed. Right.
That is the important. But we have to now work on volumes. What is e-commerce doing? E-commerce are doing at a very thin margin, but a larger volume. Earlier, dukan mein, we were doing more margins, less volume. So what is happening? The e-commerce have taken over the malls or the small shops and so on. Important है, because overhead to shop का उतना ही है, correct? E-commerce का कितना overhead? Logistic को छोड़ के. So we have to also, as an entrepreneur, get into arithmetic and become more efficient, very, very efficient. But at the same time, the government has to play its role. We have to tell them, just defining affordable housing and giving little bit of tidbits here and there, it is not going to work. So we, both the builder side and the administration side, or the political side, the government side, the lawmakers, the policy makers, have to align together to make it more so-called affordable, and at larger volume. That will give us larger volume. That will give us, increase our turnovers, and overhead will come down. The per square feet cost of interest, the revenues, the overhead, they will come down. Once those costs keep coming down, we can really pass it on and make it affordable to suit each pocket. Correct? See where the abhi Sushil bhai ne kaha, where the cost of steel is going, where the cost of cement is going. What are we doing for it? How can then we match up the affordable sector? Can we? We can't.
That is the main question, sir. We are saying housing for all, but we are seeing the cost of construction is going very high.
Then the land is only cheap in some of the cases, where in suburbs or if you go a little far, creation of infrastructure for people to move far. If we say, for example, if you have to travel 1 hour, say 50 kilometers, 20 kilometers from Calcutta, where you have to come back, it will take you 2 hours, 3 hours to commute. Okay, over the period, the time factors have been reduced because of metro and so on and so forth. Yet, unless until those things are happening, why people will migrate at a distance level, because the travel time is not shortened. So there are a lot of factors. The government have to really come forward and with the builders and the Credai and so on and so forth, have to sit together and create a platform where we can exchange views and make it more affordable.
Agreed, sir. Agreed.
Because this is very important. The quality time in the house having increased. We have seen that post COVID. पहले हम लोग कितने देर घर पर रहते थे? सुबह 2 घंटा में भी and शाम को कुछ देर. Now we are enjoying homes. We are spending time with our family, friends.
सर आपकी पोएट्री भी आ रही है.
पोएट्री तो अभी मैं लास्ट में बताऊंगा आपको. अभी एक लिखा था, मैंने लिखा था 13th May को. हाँ, मैं भी निकाल के रखा हूँ. I knew maybe you will tell me. I wrote
that's a very nice way of saying the importance of home. When each one.
I tell you, give me a line. I have just taken it out and I'll read it for all of you. The caption was, I wrote it on 13th May 2000. उस समय lockdown period था. I wrote 67 poems for 67 days of lockdown. तो घर के बारे में लिखा, मकान अब हुआ घर, मकान अब हुआ घर. उम्र भर जिसे एक मकान हमने रहने दिया, उम्र भर जिसे मकान हमने रहने दिया, आज मिलकर रहे तो वो घर बन गया. आज मिलकर रहे तो वो घर बन गया. माहौल जन्नत सा हुआ घर और प्रकृति में भी. माहौल जन्नत सा हुआ घर में और प्रकृति में भी. कड़वाहट का हुआ अंत, हर रिश्तों का मिठास बढ़ गया. कड़वाहट का हुआ अंत और हर वस्तुओं का मिठास बन गया. We have realized the importance of relationship at everywhere, with everybody. इंसान को इंसान की फिक्र होने लगी. इंसान को इंसान की फिक्र होने लगी. कम में भी ज्यादा की बरकत होने लगी. अगर छोटे घर में है तो भी लोग ले रहे हैं ना, they are improving. तो छोटे में भी ज्यादा की बरकत होने लगी. जिंदगी के मोह ने सारी चाहते छोड़ दी. जिंदगी के मोह ने सारी चाहते छोड़ दी. अब तो सादगी भी जिंदगी और चमन सी लगने लगी. So that is the point I am trying to make, is the importance of we make houses. जो लेते हैं उसको घर बनाते हैं. घर से मंदिर बनाते हैं. So the importance of house and a home have increased. We have all realized it. And the government also must come forward and help the builders to create more affordable houses, so-called, and to make the dream of, say, Prime Minister saying housing for all. खाली कहने से नहीं होगा, करने से होगा. And we builders also become more efficient, and we must pass on the reduction of cost to our buyers to make it. We should create volumes and exist.
Thank you so much, sir. Nitesh, going on to to your question, there has been going on to this high-end and luxury segment. Nitesh, we've seen that everywhere there is a huge inventory which is building up. So how do you see this segment going forward in the national perspective, and what measures do you think that the developers need to take to push this segment forward now?
Oh, the luxury segment. Okay. फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल ये तो माहौल बहुत अच्छा बन गया. वसंत जी की पोएट्री सुन के मजा आ गया.
आपको तो रोज उनके व्हाट्सएप लिस्ट में होना चाहिए. आपको
मैं तो हूँ लेकिन उनका हर पोएम निराला होता है. Anyway, so what we have seen, Surekha, that in 2020, 80% of the new launches that has happened, that is all happened under 1 crore category. And going forward, this segment is going to rise. But having said so, I mentioned in my last quote also that the NRI segment is driving the luxury sales. The emotional quotient is coming back. The uncertainties in the West, especially the Europe and the Middle East, people have realized that your native country, आपका अपना भारत, आपका अपना गांव, वो तो अपना ही रहता है. So that has come back, and the rupee has devaluated immensely. The home loan interest have come historically down. So that has driven the NRI sales to a remarkable levels. So if you see the trend, even in Kolkata and the rest part of the country, the 3 BHKs and 4 BHKs are mainly taken by the NRI segments. A lot of Middle East customers and European customers, UK customers especially have come forward to buy this segment. But, and this segment is actually costing from 90 lakhs to about 2.5 crores. Now, coming back to your luxury segments, the inventories piling up in the luxury segments and all. For the time being, because the pent-up demand being there, and the house had become a basic need of a middle class, people are more driven towards affordable housing. People who are staying in the rented accommodations have realized that, we need our own house, especially in certain cities of India like Pune and all. They were giving a second-rate treatment, I was being told. So they actually have come back and bounced back to buy their own houses. That you see, Pune is being the highest sales volumes, doing the highest sales volume in the country, followed by Chennai. So as part of the kind of advice to the developers, what they should do with the piling up inventories, I am no one. All the eminent panelists are there and a lot of other developers are saying it all depends from company to company, what kind of business plan they have, what kind of sustainabilities and patience they have into their inventories. It all depends on them. But on a personal note, I'll quote Tom Peters, one of the eminent panelists, बसंत जी से जरा क्यों लेके मैं भी थोड़ा सा शायराना हो गया हूँ. If a window of opportunity appears, don't pull your shade down. Please grab it with your both hands. So I feel so that piling up inventories will not gain anything, even if you have to roll up certain discounts, whatever you can afford, because luxury segment still has certain more margins than the affordable segments. You should come out with and ease out your cash flows. Thank you.
Agree, Nitesh. Now, this is a question which, I would want all panelists to take it. One point, we've been talking that post this, it's just a 2-3 months phase. The second phase, the second wave of COVID will phase down and we'll have a good time. One point, each one of you what according to you, we should keep in mind anything from a developer's perspective, from a consumer perspective, from a sector perspective, anything, one point. I would want to start with Harshji. Harshji, with you, starting the whole on this question, sir. Harshji, are you there?
I'm there. I'm there.
Okay. So 1 point, sir. One.
Can you repeat your question once again?
So we have, unanimously agreed that the second wave is a 2 through 3 months, event, which, will phase down, and we have learned to adapt ourselves. Today we know what animal of COVID is. So with this vaccination drive and everything, we'll see, going to the sales going to a pre-COVID level, maybe by the end of this year. Going on that positive note, 1 point, what do you think we should have in mind, maybe from a consumer perspective, sector perspective, or a developer perspective? 1 point from each panelist as to what should we keep in mind.
You see, what has happened is definitely we've learned to handle the pandemic much better than the first wave, Surekha. And we have the vaccine in front of us. So the fear of COVID should be behind us. We are better equipped to fight the COVID. So we should have more confidence on our entire system, the healthcare system, the infrastructure to come out of COVID. And I think we will win this war.
That's great, sir. Sushilji, to you, sir.
Well, I would like to say the developers not one but the two thing. You see, the demand will always be there, but we need to do proper research, create a product what our customer is requiring. Second is build credibility. We must live up to the expectation of our customers. That is the only way going forward. Otherwise, a developer who is not able to build credibility will be out of business.
Nanduji, to you, sir.
You're on mute, Nandu.
Sorry. We keep forgetting that sometimes you are mute. Technology has changed everything, how we do conventions, meetings, everything.
Sir, you are doing a meeting, you're doing a seminar on a WebEx, on a Zoom platform is the high end of saying how much technology we have adopted in this last 1 year.
As I said, this is post-COVID and pre-COVID. World War III, World War II, post-World War II. So now we are in post-COVID period. Yes, now I think one of the most important factors going forward for anybody, whether is transparency and trust for every developer is very important. I think going forward, that is what is going to decide your fate of the developer. And that is what is going to decide how you're going to conduct yourself in future. And that is how your product will sell and at a premium. If you're transparent and you're trustworthy, there's no looking back. And post-COVID, once again, I reiterate that the economy is going to grow and residential real estate is going to boom to a great extent as people find that is one of the most hard assets that you can own and keep it. And it's also got a roof over your head where you can have a family, work under it, do everything under the home. So I think transparency, trust is most important for a developer. And from the customer point of view, I think we should give them a product. We should always, I believe in this, under commit and over deliver, which is most important for the customer. That's
yes, very well said. Pradip, sir, on your perspective, sir.
I think that working from home will be new normal, and therefore we should all plan all the apartments and all whatever we are going to sell in future is to make sure that working from home is a very pleasant experience. We should plan to have an extra working space in all, even our smallest apartment, because I think one member, either husband or wife, would be continuously working from home. And this is a new normal, and it's a great boon thanks to the very easy adoption of the technology globally. And therefore, at least one of the member of the family will work from home, considering that the children are at home and all that. And it's acceptable worldwide by the corporates. So the future will be when we can make working from home possible and pleasurable, that is what we should keep in mind. That is how the future will take shape.
Agree, sir. Basant sir, for you? कोई शायराना अंदाज में बता दीजिए सर, माहौल हल्का हो जाएगा.
म्यूट पे हैं बसंत जी, आप म्यूट पे हैं बसंत जी.
मैंने कहा कि अभी सबका माहौल अच्छा है, सब कह रहे हैं कि अच्छा मार्केट है, स्टॉक बिक रहा है, एवरीबॉडी इज स्माइलिंग एंड राइटली सो. If I have to say in one word, I would say we should become efficient, and our effort should be collaborative. We should collaborative effort say we should work now. Efficiency is the single largest factor which will drive our growth and existence forward. We have to become efficient in each aspect, and above all, as I say, हर रिश्तों में मिठास होना चाहिए. ये बहुत जरूरी है रियल एस्टेट के लिए. जैसे सुशील भाई ने कहा, ट्रस्ट के लिए, ट्रांसपेरेंसी के लिए, दिस विल लीड अस टू, एज आई कॉल, रिश्तों की मिठास. दैट इज वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. आज हर एक साल के उदास चेहरों के बाद आज हम सब पे मुस्कान देख रहे हैं.
सर ये भी बात तो बहुत सही है सर.
देख रहे हैं पतझड़ में भी बसंत की बहार देख रहे हैं. पतझड़ में भी बसंत की बहार देख रहे हैं. खुशियों को बांटो तो सब जगह है. हाँ, वो देख रहे हैं.
अच्छी बात है ना सर. आज हमारे सेशन में एटलीस्ट आपकी शायराना अंदाज ने थोड़ा सा बाहर भी ला दिया. नितेश सर, हाउ डू यू थिंक दिस विल गो?
मैं तो बसंत जी के आगे क्यों देख रहा हूँ कि पतझड़ में भी बसंत की बहार देख रहे हैं, तो आई कैन सी बसंत जी स्माइलिंग.
Basant ji is a positive person I've seen in my life.
Yes, great. So I will take a very important line from your JLL report, Surekha. If 2020 was a year that changed everything, 2021 is the year that will be the new normal.
Absolutely.
Right. बड़ा सिंपल तरीके से मैं बताना चाहता हूँ for the viewers also and the aspiring customers also. You see the present market, your gold and mutual stocks is at its peak. इससे ज़्यादा कभी value नहीं रही stocks की. And while at the same moment, you see compare the prices of homes is the lowest best. This is, the best time to buy a house. What else you are waiting for? You have choices. You can negotiate with the developers. You can buy your dream house. Digital technologies can roam around, take you every corner of the house, and you don't have to visit every time and make your decisions and all. But second part, मैं आपको answer करना चाह रहा हूँ that housing for all pay. The collaborative effort that हमारे speakers ने बोला, that is very very important. Even if the developers try, to make housing budgeted, already the thinning of margins have happened. The government infrastructure should also come forward, to help them. The cement and steel prices, that you see these days, see housing for all. Most of the state enterprises, the NBCCs and the state enterprises are taking the pile. There should be more private participations. And if you have to have private participations, there has to be some kind of profitability. There is some kind of a motivation to go forward, otherwise how would they surprise? But the trend that is going to continue, Ms. Bihani, is the bigger houses and more spacious houses is the need of the hour. Ready to move in. This is a very important thing that people right now are aspiring for ready to move in houses. A house that is tangible, the house that you can, see, the house that you can take your Vastu consultant and take a Reiki of it. And the preference also that has come on to see, out of the data that I saw from Prop Equity, preference of buying from branded developers and corporates have come into being.
Yeah.
That is going to continue.
Absolutely. Thank you, everybody. I think we have overshot our time. Sapna would be, I'm sure, calling me up now saying that, can you start your Q&A? Thank you, each one of you. It was a very interesting section. We'll just open the panel for the Q&A. So,
Yes, Surekha, I think we couldn't have a better start to the conclave than this, where we not only talked about some serious issues, but we went all poetic thanks to Mr. Basant Parakh. So, what better way to start a e-conclave than in a poetic way? But yes, we have been getting a lot of questions. The panel spoke about the trend of people now going back to their hometowns. Surekha, you mentioned why not go back to Guwahati and buy a place there, or so will COVID-19 reverse or stall the urbanization trend? Surekha, who should take this question? Your call.
uh, um, I think let's give this to Harshji. Harshji being the Credai National President today. We should ask for his opinion on this.
Sapna, urbanization definitely not going to stop. I think it is going to spread. Instead of being concentrated around the metros, I think it is going to be spread across India because of this work from home facility, the new normal and technology. So people would want to definitely enjoy their lives and have better work-life balance, enjoy their families and still work. And if that's possible, if you enjoy your work and you enjoy your life, nothing better than that. I think the population growth in India is definitely going to drive urbanization, and there's going to be a shortage of housing in different categories in different micro markets. Maybe luxury housing will be met by enough demand, but still, I think there's a huge scope in this country for urbanization and housing.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Next question, Sapna.
So another one we have, I think this is regarding about the liquidity in the sector, and they are asking how financial lenders and investors are focusing their strategies for housing market. Probably they mean, how the banks are looking at lending to the developers.
Sushilji, can you please take this question?
Well, I think banks were a bit concerned post immediately after unlocking, and are still concerned. Also because of some changes in the IBC and NCLT, these things, where 10% of the customer or 100 of customer can form a group, and they can ask a kind of, they can be at par with the secured lender. So this is a matter of concern. Credai has taken it up, but we could achieve a little. But banks are there. The funding is available. But now, like customers, even the lenders also very carefully selecting the borrower. So funding is not an issue for a good project and for a good developer.
Okay. All right. Next question, is that, we spoke about a lot of trends, people moving to suburbs, people moving to buy bigger homes, probably in the townships, and even plots, plotted development is, seeing increase in demand. But is this pandemic induced trend a short-term change in the buyer's demand, or is this going to stay? Rekha.
Pradipji, you want to take this question? Pradip sir?
Yeah, am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah, you're audible, sir.
The effect of pandemic is going to be a long term. It has changed our way of, way of life and our habits and the way we are adopted the technology. It's not going to go away once the pandemic ends. I think if you hear the opinion of top-notch CEO of the companies, they are now all cutting down their business travels and all that. So therefore, I think the effect of the COVID will stay, and it will also impact not only many an industry, including real estate. So our designs and the way we are selling and the way we are marketing, all will use technology and all will have the same effect, which currently we are implementing because of the COVID, but it will continue. So I think the effect will be long term. It will be a new normal. The life will not be the same again.
Okay, so it's not a short-term change. These changes are here to stay and probably influence our way of living forever now. So as Surekha said, new normal. So this is how we are going to be. One last question I'll take. This is about, the government is looking at boosting the economy and it is looking at boosting the real estate sector. Are there any discussions on Urban Ceiling Act in Bengal for that?
Very very controversial question somebody is asking.
Basantji should answer this.
Basantji, for you to take surprising.
No, I always have been very vocal about it. Why not? I mean, if the government is saying कि कुछ चीज सस्ता करो, तो मैं बोलता हूँ तुम भी कुछ करो. Correct? तो सबको मिलजुल के करना पड़ेगा ना. We will do a collaborative and collective effort. Why the urban land ceiling? I really don't understand why. The question is why. I would not name. There was this principal secretary whom I met, and I just asked him, sir, why urban land ceiling? वो मेरे को बोलते हैं, why urban land ceiling? I couldn't get him for the first time. I said, what do you mean by sir? बोले, I am also asking why ULC. हमने कहा सर आप ही ऐसा पूछेंगे तो हम लोग क्या करेंगे? तो बोलेंगे, see, the bureaucracy and common people have different way of thinking, and the politicians have a different way of thinking. Now, the time has come when we are saying that the things have become affordable. It can only become affordable if the land is cheap or it is reasonably priced. I would amend by saying it is reasonably priced. What is happening now? We are buying, say, X pocket of lands, and we are finding our ways to bypass urban landscape. I mean, let us face it. We should face it, and we should speak. And we are being told you do like this, and you can bypass the urban landscape. Why? We can do. We are a little moderate builder or a big builder or a sizable builder. We have the infrastructure of doing it. How about masses? So we should simplify our policies. We should simplify our acts. And we should also get these acts aligned to the policy of the government, which is very important. Very, very, very important. And I'm not scared of saying that. They must change. They have no option to change. They must change. They have to change.
Nanduji, as a Credai body, have any action been taken with, has any discussion started with the government on this ULC matter?
Yes. We have made various representations to the government, and we also, because I for some political reason, they didn't want to repeal the act, so we also gave them a proposal to make it development friendly. By what I mean by that is, if you have excess urban land as defined under the act, put it to use, but do some kind of social housing. So this kind of, to make it more development friendly, we have given this proposal. But going forward, I think this is a law which needs to be repealed totally. I agree with Basantji, and we made, but there's some political reason why it's still stuck on. Reasons I wouldn't know, but then I think if they don't want to repeal it, let them make it development friendly. That land can be developed for sure, but how it is to be developed, they have to define that. That's it. I think it should go for sure.
Thank you, sir.
Dr.
Sapna, over
Nitesh?
to you.
Yeah, Dr. Nitesh, your quick view on this?
Well, I think, Basantji, as Nanduji has very rightly briefed about that, so I should not comment on that. But I think the Urban Land Ceiling Act has gone evaded from most of the states of India. So why not from Bengal? The ease of doing business is some policies that government is coming forward every time. The ease of doing business for real estate should also be there. People are talking about the online sanctions. People are talking about the architects only signing their plans, and you can get your approvals. The land records are being all scanned and put into documentation forms. There are all kinds of things are happening. So why not ULC? So that will ease out of a lot of troubles that one has to go through, and I think ultimately is going to benefit the end user.
Okay, fantastic. So as long as talks are happening,
I would like to quote, about the sales volume. So today only I was reading Mr. Deepak Parikh's, interview in Times of India today in Kolkata edition. And in his 44 years of meritorious, career, he has never seen this kind of a residential demand. Such a respected person, from the housing industry, saying so. So that's a clear sign that the great times have come, for residential sales, and we are all prepared for it.
इसमें kitchen का भी होगा.
That's correct. So, rightly said, yes, we have reached a turning point. Surekha, your last summarization of this
So
entire,
I'll just intervene for a moment.
Yes,
yes.
I am also taking the what do I say, the opportunity of being in this platform and saying that the government must reduce their controls on real estate. The conversion of land, the conversion of different segments of land has to be eased. They should do it. They should not act as a businessman. They should act as a reformer. This is very important. And I leave this to my senior panelists, my friends, to take this forward in the times to come.
That's right. Ease of businesses, now everyone is asking for that. Surekha, your last comment and summarization of our panel today.
Last comment, very short, very quickly, Sapna, I think we've done a very long panel. You started before time. We took a lot of time. But the very thing which came out in this discussion is that home is now become a very important place. So roti, kapda and makan, that was the word that has become very important. It is, home is where people are now developing their, the cohesiveness of families are again coming back. And that is why we see this segment as a growth segment. So people are expecting that by end of this year, we will get down to a level which will be pre-COVID. A very positive view has come out from here. And what is very importantly is that we have the 4-5 things which each and every developer has to understand to adapt, has to change themselves in the going forward time, is use technology. We have learned to handle the pandemic, as Harshji has said. So please get into the vaccination drive and get in to learn and handle this COVID situation, get transparency into the system, build trust and credential. That is how I would like to end this session. Key points which has come out in this whole discussion is this is how it is. Of course, ULC is a controversial topic. It has always been. Kerala and West Bengal are 2 states where we have ULC. We've been asking for a lot of action to happen in this end. And let's hope for the best. As Nanduji said, that whichever government comes in, now Bengal will be the benefited person.
Fantastic. So that was a very positive note, and the positive sentiments that we have got from our panel one, and what better start we could have asked for this e-conclave. So thank you all speakers today who have joined us for this session. Mr. Basant Parakh, Mr. Nandu Belani, Mr. Harshvardhan Patodia for being here, joining this session and taking questions as well. Surekha for wonderfully conducting this session. Dr. Nitesh Gupta, thank you for being here. Mr. Sushil Mohta, thank you so much. Mr. Nandu Belani and Mr. Pradip Chopra for being here with us for this session and sharing your valuable views. Thank you so much.